afternoon to all of you. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here, and thank you for this invitation. And as you see on the presentation, I'm going to talk today about career guidance for immigrants and refugees as the way to social inclusion. And I'm going to focus somehow on current trends and challenges. But of course, mostly I will focus on the Polish situation as I'm Polish and work at the Polish university. So um, maybe I'm going to start with some basic definitions related to career guidance, as maybe not everyone is familiar with this field of study today. So nowadays, as you can see, career guidance is perceived as an activity that is designed not only for individuals, but also for groups, including, of course, migrants and refugees. And it is an activity that focuses not only on work, but also on leisure and on life design. And for now, it is an comprehensive, open, and flexible process that incorporates a variety of career development practices for enhancing immigrants' vocational well-being. For example, this is career conversation, diagnosis, vocational rehabilitation, and other activities. And the results of these activities have the potential for individual and social change. And therefore, from the political point of view, it is considered as contributing to the social justice, social equality, social inclusion. And of course, the link between all of these big issues as social inclusion and social justice and career guidance is difficult to be captured empirically, but it stresses more and more often in research and policy documents, institutional activity, and daily practices of career guidance practitioners that actually career guidance can really contribute to the social inclusions and social justice. And I would like to begin my presentation with a short sentence reminding us that actually job is not just an income. It's a dignity, hope, and actually purpose. And job plays a great role in people's lives, and this is not something that requires discussion. This is paid unemployment or self-unemployment that provides the migrants with access to livelihood, which in itself supports other processes that facilitates inclusion in the community. These include learning the local languages, deeper understanding of local cultures, and having access to facilities that enable independent living, such as the possibility of opening a bank account, paying rent, and accessing such services as health, education, and training, all of which are likely to enhance constructive interactions with locals. However, the unemployment rate among individuals aged between 20 and 64 years living in the European Union in 2022 was 5.5% for nationals, 7.1% for citizens of other European Union member states, and approximately twice as high, 12.8% for non-European Union citizens. And I think that this statistic suggests that, among other factors, immigrants often suffer more than nationals from local and labor market fluctuations. And I emphasize those fluctuations just because labor markets have changed lately enormously due to pandemic, economic crises, climate crises, wars, and other local and global circumstances such as liberalization of the labor markets, technologization, and so on. And it is evident that inequalities still can be considered as an important factor in the labor market, and immigrants can be perceived as a disadvantaged group in the labor market of the European Union. But we, of course, should remember of the danger of the spectacle of statistics in the production of crisis. And remember that these situations means just pain and personal tragedies. And as we all know, a paid employment in the formal labor market is especially difficult to secure for a good number of migrants. They experience problems with language, stereotypes, culture shocks, lack of recognized qualifications and skills, and lack of social capital, knowledge and networks that really facilitate access to employment. And you may notice on the presentation that I've grouped some challenges that migrants may experience on the labor market. Of course, those are not all challenges, but I don't want to focus on the labor market itself today. And I think that there is no need to spend more time on this. We all know what kind of challenges migrants experience on the labor market. What I want to stress is that migrants often experience double or even triple exclusion from the labor market. They experience all of the negative mechanisms experienced by nationals, but also they have challenges typical of migrants. So they are often altogether poor, low-skilled, living in the areas at risk, and they are women, black, etc., etc. And a special significance should be given also to the process of positioning towards immigrants within societies. These processes create a sort of atmosphere and attitudes toward various social groups. And by positioning, I mean the processes of taking stands and opinions related to the issue of migration by almost every person in the society. And as a result, the policy and actions are taken by institutions and people are created. Positioning, just like stereotypes, can be considered as a sort of invisible power that shapes immigrants' reality. I mean, this is not something that we are aware on our daily basis. We sometimes have the position without even knowing this, that we have some opinions about immigration, etc. And this is really visible in many, many institutions, especially the public institutions that are supposed to support immigrants on the situation in the labor market. So the big question for career guidance is how career guidance can address the difficult immigrants' position on the labor market. And there are at least three dimensions and levels that should be considered here and now. The theoretical one, the practical, and of course the political one. And Ronald Sultana stressed once that the career guidance field has developed important funds of knowledge over the years, generating insights that really help practitioners make sense and respond to situations that are marked by complexity. Awareness of such complexity has given rise to more sophisticated theoretical frameworks that acknowledge the multi-level interaction between individuals, groups, and social contexts in an effort to promote life and career development. Such approaches stress that social and economic contexts matter, and that it is not possible to promote career human agency of diverse population without taking into account the dynamic interplay between cultural, contextual, and psychosocial factors in the life design process. And this means that career guidance has the instruments not only to understand the particular position of immigrants in the labor market, but also to help them. And on the level of practice, as you may see on the presentation, the most important steps include actually early skills assessment, introduction programs including general cultural orientation, socio-professional orientation and trainings, intensive language courses, and access to general job intermediation services. Of course, career guidance for immigrants should be based on the theoretical and ethical rules adjusted to the situation, just like in the case of career guidance provided for so-called nationals. And on the policy level, what is the most important is not only the comprehensive career guidance policy, but also labor market and migration policies. And from the Polish perspective, and I will go back to this later, One of the most important issues is an equal access to guidance services and quality control as necessary elements of the system. It is not enough to provide support only in cities or regions where the density of immigrants population is high. At least the information about career guidance services should be provided everywhere. And of course, I am aware that those are not all dimensions and levels being of great significance in this issue. For example, the trainings and workshops for career guidance professionals should be provided as well. And career guidance practitioners' multicultural skills are one of the elements of the services quality. And now I will focus a bit on the career guidance in Poland. And if I were asked to describe the Polish career guidance services for immigrants, I would definitely stress that our system is of great fragmented character. There is no comprehensive career guidance policy in Poland, including services for immigrants. Of course, partly because of the lack of such kind of policy, a lot of activities are just temporal, without continuity and traditions. And what I would also stress is that we have really differentiated regional access. Most of the activities are conducted in the biggest cities of the country, even though, as the situation with Ukrainian refugees has shown, a lot of newly arrived people in Poland live in the countryside regions. And we have also very differentiated service providers in terms of we have NGOs, municipalities, schools, local organizations, etc. And probably the services funded by the European Union and provided by non-governmental organizations can be considered as the main path of Polish system development. And of course, we all know that this is not enough in Poland. And another issue related to our system is the lack of quality control and assessment. And of course, it is difficult to assess the guidance quality in general, but this task seems to be even more difficult if you don't know actually and you don't monitor who is the provider of career guidance. And that is our case. And as a result, Polish career guidance system requires still actions at various levels, at political, cultural, educational, and so on. You may see exactly how services are available and not available at the same time. And this ambivalence has become evident after the Russian invasion on Ukraine. And let me give some examples on formal activities in Poland. First of the examples are the projects funded by the Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund, used in Poland to provide, for example, an information and guidance point for non-European Union citizens. They are trying to prepare school employees to work with non-national learners. They support non-European Union citizens adapting to Polish realities. They conduct adaptation courses for foreigners, Polish language courses, and Polish language courses. And what they offer as well is also counseling and integration assistant provided by a cultural assistant. They offer psychological support for immigrants. They provide advice on solving life difficulties and achieving a better quality of life. They support in rising self-esteem, consciously managing career, or effectively building image on the labor market. And also they support immigrants with additional and other services. And you may notice that this is not only career guidance itself, but this is also support for life transition in general. But typical career guidance support for immigrants in Poland actually include only help in understanding the realities of Polish labor market, including individual industries and self-employment, assistance in finding the optimal workplace, taking into account previous experience and identified competences and skills. Assistance in determining an individual career path and suggestions on retraining or learning new skills. And typical career guidance for immigrants in Poland includes also help in finding in writing CV and cover letter in Polish, and support in preparing for a job interview, and information on the possibilities of nostrification of documents and certificates, as well as legal matters. So you may have noticed that this includes not only showing directions, but also career learning and education for immigrants. And to sum all of this up, even though career and employment are of great importance in people's lives, and even though career guidance can support people in career development and social and vocational inclusion, you may have noticed that Poland does not provide a sufficient career guidance support for immigrants. In the conversation that we have with career guidance practitioners, we see not only a full awareness of this situation, but also their needs for workshops and training. They often feel that they should develop their intercultural skills and competences. But what we all know, nothing should be perceived as one-sided. What we can see on the daily basis, at least in the city where I live, is the enormous growth of informal activities and support for immigrants. The situation with Ukrainian refugees has shown us that there is a lot of the voluntary work in our country. Career guidance practitioners, especially those who work for NGOs, they offer career guidance for immigrants as well for free often. The same situation is for the companies and employers. They provide information on the labor market. They provide tests for the career preferences assessment. They provide a lot of films about and movies about Polish labor market, Polish culture, etc. They provide a lot of information about Polish institutions and Polish social security system. So there is a plenty of information also from our government side, in terms of there are plenty of information about Polish even currency, Polish situation, Polish living situation, Polish prices, etc. So I would say that there are plenty of informal career guidance, or at least career information in our country. And for me, of course, the biggest question is what will be the directions in the future. So how not only Polish government, but also Polish institutions and Polish researchers will use that kind of movement that actually appeared after the Russian invasion on the Ukraine, and how we can use that kind of attitudes towards supporting people just to make that kind of actions more regular, and just to make sure that not only during the wartime but always immigrants have an equal access to career guidance, career support. Just because, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, a job is not only job. Just job means often that immigrants can integrate with local communities, and at the end it means that there is a social inclusion and the social justice, as we really want to stress in our research groups. So I think that's all that I wanted to stress today, and thank you very much.